patch breakdown. What's up, everyone? I'm doing a patch breakdown. If you still haven't noticed, let's do this. This is the Staff of the Master update. So my opinion, Staff of the Master sucks. Did I just spit on the screen? Yeah, I should calm down a little bit. Staff of the Master is balls, but they're trying to change it for heroes that are like getting new effects. In other words, the heroes that suck balls with Staff of the Master now will continue sucking balls, and some new ones will get some kind of improvements. Anywho, first to go is Accursed. His ultimate now can be used not just while silenced, but also when being stunned. So use Hammerstorm stun, and Accursed can just ulti out of it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. My opinion on this is that it's pretty good actually, because sometimes you just get stun locked and you don't know what to do, and a way to dispel a stun while you're stunned. How can that be bad? I'll move the camera down. There we go, that's better. So, as I was saying, how can being able to dispel a stun while being stunned be bad? And it works with Electrician's Grip and even Tempest Ultimate. It's seriously good now. And Accursed is a support hero that kind of needs that so that he can cast skills often and stuff, so I can actually see this being picked up. So yeah, good job. Berserker kind of got the same thing. I'm not sure where you can see it below. Yeah, you can see here somewhere. Berserker got a thing where he can use his ultimate now while being stunned or disabled, doesn't matter, just anything. He can use it, it will instantly dispel everything, plus he no longer gets the increased damage. In other words, use ultimate, you still take normal damage, which is huge. You won't be dying so fast. And also, it increases the damage you get for maximum health from your ultimate too, which Staff of the Master adds that. So the only bad point is that, does Berserker need that much mana, like the amount that Staff of the Master provides? And Staff of the Master not very cost effective as a carry item, but this is still very huge because he can do ridiculous stuff like this now. See, I was gripped by Electrician and stunned by Hammerstorm, and I just press R and that's it. I'm free. That's pretty freaking good. Like, for a carry to be able to do this, that is huge. So yes, I can definitely see Staff of the Master being picked up on Berserker, because just being able to dispel the stuns like that is really, really big. Like, everyone will try focus you down, but it's not gonna matter, because they won't be able to lock you down. And you can just wait for your shrunken head even, like, not to turn it off right away, because, oh, what if they stun lock me and I won't even be able to do anything? No, that's impossible now. You can't get caught off guard as Berserker, because you can just use your ultimate whenever. So yeah, it's really big, really good, and it can be picked up, so good. Blitz is next, so the duration of the ultimate is increased by 1 second, also now applies minus 100 attack speed, and increased damage by 100. So, doesn't seem to be that big. First of all, that's important to note. It doesn't seem like a lot. I mean, like 1 extra second slow and like extra slow and like 100 damage. Big whoop. However, there is some things to consider. Yes, I don't really like it that much, but things to consider. First of all, Blitz's ultimate is superior magic. So, it doesn't deal the damage, the magic damage, if you're magic immune, but it does apply the slow. So now, not only are your movement speed slowed and attack speed slowed, despite being magic immune or anything else, it also now lasts a bit longer. So in other words, it's good against carries, much better now if you do get that Staff of the Master. And another very important thing is that Blitz needs stats, kind of. He needs health so that he can stay close to people, because yeah, he's really squishy, and he needs the mana because he does cast skills a lot. So Staff of the Master just by nature kind of really like caters to him, and adding this like with the added effect to it, I think it can be picked up on Blitz if you do manage to get it. I wouldn't really mind this pickup. So probably better items there, but I mean, like, it's okay, kind of, sort of. And as far as I can tell, both Blitz and Berserker, I think, are the only two heroes who don't get any kind of Staff of the Master effect, like, on them. So yeah, just so you know, you won't be looking any cooler if you get the Staff of the Master. You still look exactly the same. Nothing changes. Next is a change to my second favorite hero. And the first knee-jerk reaction I had, which yes, my knee was actually jerking, is that this sucks. I mean, it goes faster by 0.1 seconds. 0.1 seconds. And yes, it bounces into additional targets. Big whoop. It's like 0.5 seconds instead of 0.6. Are you kidding me? That's the Staff of the Master. On a hero that really needs like movement speed or damage or any other carry items. Like, when would you ever go for Staff of the Master when you have like Dawnbringer that already gives you all the mana regen you'd ever want? And it works very well with your passive, like movement speed on movement speed, so you become really fast. Why would you get a Staff of the Master? Because it's so cost efficient. So that's what I was thinking at first. And by the way, it does make you look cooler if you take it off. As you can see, the effects vanish. There's some lightning. But there is something I have to show you. So here I use my ultimate just normally without the Staff of the Master. And that's what it does. It lasts for 20 seconds. And it deals more damage the longer it stacks up, like the more charges it has, because it does deal physical damage, not magical, and it applies -1 armor every time. So there we go. I kind of kill Electrician and deal a bit more damage, right? So he has 2,000 health. This guy also has 2,000. This guy has almost 2,000 health. Now I'm gonna get Staff of the Master, and this is what happens. Tempest dying, I have to heal him. Hammerstorm dying, I have to heal him. Electrician died because I wasn't fast enough. That was at least 4,000 extra damage. Yes, I had to wait for it to stack up and they were kind of like standing close, but that is nonetheless at least 4,000, closer to 5,000 extra damage. 5,000 extra damage. Just think of that number for a little bit. 5,000 extra damage. Like, I don't like Staff of the Master, and on Corrupted Disciple it sounds pretty retarded, but you can't ignore this math. It's 5,000 damage. Yes, it can be picked up, because it is that ridiculously good, and for farming it's also going to be great, because now instead of working on one creep, it'll work on all of them. And of course the minus armor helps your teammates as well deal more damage, not just yourself, but that's still freaking 5,000 damage. That's nothing to laugh about. That's serious. If you manage to stay alive through your entire ultimate and hit people with it, it's gonna wreck. It's gonna wreck. So yes, I like it, and I think I'm gonna try it. It's something that at first you think, wow, that sounds retarded and so weak, but those extra bounces, man, that's huge. So yeah, +1. So next we have a new Staff of the Master to Legionnaire, and he does get a new effect. If you drop the Staff of the Master, as you can see, his back kind of becomes lighter. That's because he gets a couple of axes, which is amazing. So Staff of the Master makes your ultimate, if you successfully kill someone, refresh all of your cooldowns. And I think that's big. Refreshing cooldowns, especially on a hero like Legionnaire. I mean, theoretically, you can just kill 5 people and constantly refresh your cooldowns non-stop if you go on the right targets in the right order. So that's really, really big. So definitely worthy, I think, on Legionnaire, and like it just looks fun, the stuff you can do. So for example, I'm gonna engage, use my ultimate, Restoration Stone, again engage, kill him, and again do this, and then I'm almost killed Hammerstorm. Can kill him as well and go again. Yeah, basically if you get a refreshment restoration stone, you can have a lot of fun. But that's a pretty weird build. Have the Master Restoration Stone. But yeah, Legionnaire, pretty interesting now, I think. That's definitely a cool effect. If anything, it's just funny, so I like it. Next is Madman. Berserk, attack speed increased by 40. Movement speed increased also a lot. Pretty much doubled. Not pretty much, exactly doubled. And also a very new interesting effect if you get the Staff of the Master, besides the cool lightning around him, as you can see. Your ultimate, if you die while it is on, you will stay alive. So how does this look like exactly? And what does this mean? So basically, your health bar will vanish and you will still be alive for 5 seconds, but you do not get immunity to stuns or anything like that. So here I use my ultimate, and as you can see, I'm still alive. And then I die 5 seconds later normally. So, as I said, you do not get immunity to any stuns, so you can still be stun locked for those 5 seconds that you are alive. But nonetheless, I mean, it doesn't let you die for 5 seconds. How cool is that? +1 instantly. Just good. I like it. Next we have Martyr, who also got a Staff of the Master effect, now heals both targets to 100%. And he also gets this cool effect where stuff is spinning around. As you can see, if I drop it, there's no stuff spinning around, and now there is. So what do I think about this? I think it sucks. So problem with Martyr is that when are you gonna get a Staff of the Master? If you get a Staff of the Master on Martyr, you probably won the game anyway, and it won't matter what you go for. If you manage to get that kind of farm on this hero who has absolutely no farm ability whatsoever and just no even stun to help late game, how are you gonna get this item? But if you do get this item, it basically fixes the main problem with Martyr, with his ultimate, and that is you either stay low with your ultimate and then you use it to heal yourself, and by staying low all of your other skills benefit from it, but then you cannot heal your carry in a fight, which makes you kind of a bad support, or you stay full just so you can heal your carry in a fight at some point, but all of your skills will suck because you'll be full on health. So now that problem is solved. You can stay low and you will both heal your carry and all of your other skills will work great. So can Martyr use the stats from Staff of the Master? Definitely. But there is still a couple of problems. First of all, your ultimate has a 2-minute cooldown on level 1. But okay, you won't get it then. Still 90 or 60 second cooldown. That's still pretty big. But the range also sucks. It's 3, 4, 500, like, and you have to channel it. It's still pretty sucky. And it was good before, but I mean, like, when are you gonna get a Staff of the Master on Martyr? And this doesn't make a Martyr a better hero. I mean, like, farming this item is really hard, and Martyr needs help as a hero, I think. So, yeah, I'm disappointed. This effect sucks. Could be better. Like, remove channel time, or, I don't know, increase range or something. Reduce cooldown. Freaking Martyr. Jerk. Next we have Monarch, who got something absolutely ridiculous. So without the Staff of the Master, she doesn't have these, like, thingies. There is an effect, as you can see, like it appears in her wings. Without the Staff of the Master, your ultimate looks like this. And that's kind of it. With Staff of the Master, your ultimate looks like this. What the hell? What the fuck? And it works twice as well. It works first once and then back in like 4 seconds or 5 or 3 seconds. No, after 3 seconds it returns. Okay, so you can use it on an ally and it'll come back. And it's still freaking unbelievable how it looks. Like, look at this casting. So funny. Anywho, Monarch's ultimate is good because it dispels stuns and disables. So now, and it also gives you a movement speed buff. So now, not only is it better, but it also comes back, so it's used twice, so even more movement speed, even more stun dispelling. Basically, in a team fight, it will be really hard to do anything when Monarch is around with a Staff of the Master. And now, I will drink water because I can feel my voice is dying. So unlike Martyr, Monarch has some farming ability. She can, I mean, at least kind of use her third skill or something, I don't know. If you do manage to get a Staff of the Master, I think it could be worth it, because just for that dispelling stuns, dispelling any crowd controlling abilities, that can be really big, and the movement speed too. So yeah, I really like it. It can pretty much turn a team fight around. It turns your ultimate into something really, really good. So +1. I like it. Next we have Rhapsody. Her ultimate now gets an extra second on the duration, and you can now move at 150 movement speed while channeling. Rhapsody does get an effect when you pick it up, like these things start flying around, notes or whatever. So how does this look like? Basically, use your ultimate and you can move. If you attack, it will cancel. If you use your skills, it will cancel. If you get stunned, it will cancel. But if you just move and don't do anything, then it won't. So you can move at 150 attack movement speed. And it's pretty much just your ultimate with an extra second added to it. I think it's good. So the extra second helps, and of course Staff of the Master stats work very well for Rhapsody. She doesn't need that health and mana. She needs the health to stay alive while ulting and stuff. And yeah, that kind of really makes her ultimate very different and much better. You can just move around and like catch people with it who are not in range. And the extra second helps a lot. So yeah, I can see how you would pick this item up on Rhapsody if you manage to farm it. She does have that second skill, which kind of helps her farm a bit, so it is possible. And yeah, I like it. I don't mind what they did. Kind of interesting, like semi-channeling thing. Yeah, cool. And last three Staff the Master effects are the ones that I think suck balls. I don't like them at all. So first of all, the Rift Walker. The effect is that her thingy staff gets an extra orb or extra energy, so that's the visual effect of it. So what it does is that for like 2 or 3 seconds after your ultimate, I believe it's 2 seconds, it allows you to teleport back everything that's in the area. So basically, you use your ultimate, you teleport here, and it will not matter where you move. If you use it again, it will only teleport what's in that giant circle where you came the first time. So you cannot abuse this with a portal queue or anything. So the usage is simple. You use it, and then you decide, well, I want to go back, so I'm going to push them back. So the heroes stay in the exact same position that they were, so that does not change. So if I set them like this, and I use my ultimate, it will move them exactly like that. So it does not bunch them up or anything. They stay. And I think it's important to note that this ultimate sucks balls. Like, this buff sucks dick, I think. I don't like it at all. Like, first of all, Staff of the Master is already a questionable pickup on Riftwalker, because do you really need it? I mean, you initiate and your job is done. You don't really need that health or that much mana, but okay, maybe for farming. She can farm it, yes, but I mean, it's a 2.5 huge area stun. 2.5 huge area stun. That's like already helping your allies do whatever the hell they want. Like, you stun a bunch of enemies for 2.5 seconds, and it's superior magic too. Why on earth would you also move them somewhere? And not like far away with a portal key, but like it's 1400 range. There we go, that's the range. That's it. So you can move anywhere within this circle, and you can pull someone back. And that's still like the 2-second channeling time, so the enemy will probably see you coming, unless you're in fog, but still. They're already stunned for 2.5 seconds. Will moving them really do that much else if they're already in a horrible position, if they got caught? Will it not only just confuse your allies more if you do it? I mean, okay, if you prepare with your allies and you kind of like tell them, hey, wait here, I'll go ult them. Question: if you just ult them and stun them for 2.5 seconds, will your allies not just have time to come up and do whatever they wanted anyway? So yeah. This looks like an effect that was basically like, hey, wouldn't this be cool? I mean, it's a wormhole, a black hole, you can move through it. Would it not be cool if you could move backwards too? Well, yeah, maybe it would be cool, but it sucks as a game mechanic. I mean, there's no place for it. It's too weak. Like, it's just, your ultimate already does pretty much everything it needs, and the Staff of the Master adds another effect that is not really essential to make it, like, it doesn't really make it much better. It sucks, okay? I don't like it. Deal with it. Sandre's Staff of the Master effect. When you teleport to an illusion, it fears people and then slows them. Remember how I said the last 3 Staff of the Master effects suck balls? So the visual effect is that you get like more sand. As you can see, there's not too much sand on you, and then there's a lot of sand. So yeah, and also the sand stays behind for a bit, kind of bug, but whatever. My problem with this Staff of the Master is you basically most of the time will use it to like fear 1-2 people, which will disable them. Okay, if you want to disable people, right? Listen, give this some thought. Why would you not get a brutalizer that also gives you agility and strength, the same amount as a Staff of the Master, is much cheaper, and has a 2-second cooldown, and you can use it so many times? Or would you get Staff of the Master on a skill that has an 80-second cooldown to stun once, or not even stun, disable? Why on earth would you get Staff of the Master instead of just getting a brutalizer? Oh, but I want to cancel their TPs. Well, okay, get a brutalizer or Savage Mage, I don't know. Why would you get this item for such an effect instead of something better? Why? It sucks so much. Like, and you don't... I'm done. This effect sucks. Why? This is so stupid. When there's a brutalizer an item like that in the game. Why would you get a Staff of the Master for such a stupid effect? Jesus Christ. You can just get it and use your ultimate and stun them with the Brutalizer anyway. What the hell? I'm done. And last but not least, we have Slither. So the effect is that he gets a bunch of like poisony things flying around. And the only thing Staff of the Master does is turn your non-lethal damage to lethal damage. So what? So I ask why? Why on earth is this necessary? I don't get it. It doesn't add damage or anything. It just makes it lethal. So that 1% of the time when the target would have died, Staff of the Master helps. Like, the Slither really need all that horrible stat, like those horrible cost efficient stats just to make his ultimate lethal? The idea is great. It's perfect. Except it's weak. Why not just buff it as well? Jesus Christ, this stuff sucks. This effect sucks so hard. Why? Why? Why make something that sucks so hard and implement it like, well, people will pick it up if they're winning the game anyway. Or if they're losing, then, well, they'll lose even harder. Why was this necessary? Can someone please tell me, like, why did they think that this would be good enough of a Staff of the Master effect? I mean, Slither is already picked up so rarely. And, like, you give him such a sucky effect, people are not gonna pick him up anymore. It just sucks balls. Why? I don't like it. Could have done a much better job on this, in my opinion. So next we have a few item changes. The first one is Bound Die. That is the Revelation Ward. Ward revealing effect of it will stay. So if I place like a word here, it will stay for 4 seconds after the Bound Die effect is over, which is amazing because it is so incredibly annoying when it runs out and you're like, oh my god, I really wanted to kill it, but it just ran out like that. And then you have to wait 60 seconds, or well, 50 I guess, since 10-second duration. But it's so annoying. And I'm glad that it's just addressing annoying mechanics like that. Next is a Frostfield plate change. They replaced the minus 25 attack speed with a 20% attack speed slow. Basically, this is a straight up buff, because if the target has a lot of attack speed items, it will make a really big difference now. Like, much bigger than before. So when he's attacking like this, then I pick it up and he slows down by quite a lot. So you're thinking, well, heroes don't always get attack speed. Well, they do, whether they like to or not, because every point of agility adds 1 attack speed. So you always have some attack speed at least. Like Berserker right now, even level 8, already has 41 attack speed extra.
Take me closer.
Even though he has to have the master. But that's besides the point. It's better now. Basically, it's better as an anti-carry item, kind of. I hate my chair so much for making noise. God damn it! So next is a much needed change to Frostwolf Skull, in my opinion. They made it basically not suck as hard DX now anymore. So the thing with Frostwolf Skull is that it has Blessed Orb in its recipe, which is a pretty inefficient item, kind of. And you don't really need it on a lot of heroes, most of them. So they basically said, well, okay, let's not make Frostwolf Skull suck. And that's kind of what they did. So basically now it gives you a bit more than nothing. So before it would give you, for completing the recipe, 4 strength, 5 agility, 5 intelligence, and the slow. For a 6200 gold item, it's not very impressive, especially with kind of hard to build components. So now they improved that. Now it gives still 4 strength, unfortunately, but now it gives 10 agility instead of 5 and 10 intelligence. So it's a lot more of a lots of stats items and still gives lots of strength, which is good for the health and the slow state. So basically you get 4 strength, 10 agility, 10 intelligence, and a pretty good slow, or at least an improvement, for 700 gold, which is a much better deal than before. So basically, instead of being this super trash item that nobody gets because Dawnbringer is better in every single way, Frostwolf Skull now potentially has a use, because it gives more stats overall. More HP mana, doesn't give the attack speed or movement speed, which is a huge minus, but it does nonetheless also provide the really good slow, which also works on skills. So yeah, Frostwolf Skull slowly being pushed in the right direction. I'm not sure if this will be enough, but definitely good. And next change, just wow, I was honestly amazed that this happens. A nerf to Grimoire of Power. So I guess people who had no clue how math worked picked up this item enough in high level games where they needed a nerf for it. Wow. Okay. The only excuse before I had for this item sucking was, well, in Han, it's a game kind of about counterplay and with lots of depth, and magic damage dealers are not supposed to carry, like normal carries are supposed to be better, and we already have like a lot of ways for magic damage to deal more with items like spell shards, even Lax Leonis, and there's Cooler Sheepstick, and not Cooler Sheepstick, Harkon's Blade, and now there's also Grimoire of Power, and I was like, wow, you can be a magic carry now, and I made a video about it. So my thought was that, well, okay, Grimoire of Power sucks, but maybe that's okay, because magic damage dealing heroes are not supposed to carry that hard. So now Grimoire of Power was nerfed even more though, and it sucks. And I will just think that people who pick it up are even more clueless than before when they get it instead of like spell shards. And yes, it helps farming a little bit, but very few heroes it matters much. Like Dampier, okay, Dampier, Pebbles. Heroes on who picking this item up will make them deal that little bit of extra damage to creeps so that they can one-shot creep waves and flash farm. So Grimoire of Power sucks more now, 5 less damage over time, which means that Dawnbringer will deal more damage if you like manage a few hits on the target. And Grimoire of Power overrides the searing effect of Dawnbringer, so if you have both, Dawnbringer, Grimoire of Power just basically makes it worse now, much worse, at least more than before. And it cost 100 extra gold, which, yeah, it already had kind of a crappy build-up. So, yeah. Well, at least it still deals the same magic damage, kind of, but nah. I wanted a buff to Grimoire of Power, kind of. Or maybe pushing it in another direction, but whatever. People picked up this stupid item enough, I guess, that it even warranted a nerf. I can't believe this, really. Okay, I mean, a few heroes you can get it, yes, but you don't just get it in every single hero and expect it to work well. Just no. And the worst part, people will still pick it up. Next we have Icon of the Goddess is no longer a trash bad item, but what is trash bad is my freaking chair. So now when you kill someone with it, it gives you plus 30 health and mana regen for 10 seconds. Basically, over 10 seconds restores 300 health and 300 mana whenever you get a kill. Finally, this item does something. So before you got this like kind of item that costs a ton of gold and only really gives you a sustainer later in the game from the regen it gives, on average. And then they change it so that you can keep gaining charges, like even if you're dying on average an equal amount as your enemies. So finally, they added something decent to this item so that you can like turn a team fight around or something. This was probably like the #1 worst item in the game, and they finally changed it. Yes, good. Why did this take so long? Shaman's Headdress now takes a life tube instead of this item here. I forgot what it's called, but I know what it is. Helm of the Victim. So, two things. First of all, it now costs 75 gold less. So, everything else stays the same. You can still complete it in the side shop. All the components are still there. You have a little bit more freedom, kind of, but I'll be honest, I'm not too big of a fan of this. I mean, like, you lost the armor bonus, which is a shame, yes, but still, that was a unique thing about this item that, like, if you went for the build-up of getting Helm of the Victim first, like me, in the lane, instead of, like, a life tube or something, you got 5 armor early, and still 3 health regen, which is really good, which is basically interesting. It's like you don't just rush for health regen, you instead say, well, I could use some armor early and later I'll turn this into magic armor. That was a kind of cool conversion that I liked. And now it's just like, well, let's make it exactly like it is with stats. yeah, I'm kind of disappointed a little bit. It's an okay change, and it's kind of consistency because, well, it didn't give armor before, only magic armor, so they were like, well, let's make it like just health. So yeah. One thing to consider though, apart from my weird lag, is that Barrier Idol gives 10 health regen. So Shaman's Headdress now gives 9 instead of 8, whereas Barrier Idol gives 10. What's the problem? Well, the problem is that 9 plus 2 should make 11 and not 10, which is another inconsistency which they will probably fix later. I don't know when, but yeah, just introduced a new inconsistency. So I'm not too big of a fan of this change. I think it sucks. And last item change is for Lex de Leonis. It now costs 25 gold less, so 275 instead of 300. Who thought of these numbers? They were like, well, 300 is too much, but 275 sounds about right. No. The problem with this item is that for some ridiculous reason it costs a ton of mana, when it's a debuff that essentially does the same to you that it does to enemy, except it costs you mana. This item should not cost mana, or should be much cheaper. This item still sucks, in other words, just like I said, and nobody will still pick it up as 2. Nobody! And if someone does, I will report them! I'm getting way too crazy here. I blame the chair for squeaking. Hero changes: minions can no longer attack towers if the hero is not nearby. Whatever. Nerf to minion heroes, good. Enough of them in competitive games every single game. And last, we have some changes to heroes. Some nerfs. So remember how Stu said, hey, we don't like bursty heroes anymore, so we're gonna nerf them. And that's what they continued to do in this patch. And basically what this means is that Deadwood was killed. He was killed, stabbed in the back with not just any dagger, a freaking sword, a huge one, in the back, and then all his guts came out spilling on the ground. And then it was like, oh, damn it, I'm a tree, I don't have guts, but he still had guts, because it was that bad. So now you have an ultimate on level 6 that deals 225 damage on a 100-second cooldown. 200 damage, 100-second cooldown. Wow, this is the best ultimate I've ever seen. What warranted this huge nerf? What the hell? Like, really? These numbers? Why? Okay, the strength reduction increased, so we're pushing Deadwood more towards that role. Make it 50% or something then. I mean, health is not only gained from strength, from just other stuff as well, but yeah, damage nerf, quite a lot. 225 damage on level 3. It's physical damage, so it's even worse late game. I'm just curious, really. I'm not gonna even rage, I'm just curious how far will Deadwood's win rate drop after this change, because he's trash now. Like, what the hell? Who thought it would be a good idea to put a 200 damage single target nuke on a 100-second cooldown as an ultimate on a hero that pretty much cannot do anything else? Okay, he last hits well. Yeah. I'm just, if it's not obvious enough that I'm against this change a lot, then yeah, just wow, really. Yeah, make the strength reduction 50% then or something to compensate. This is balls, man. This skill costs way too much, like in terms of like cooldown. Lodestone received some adjustments. So first of all, his first skill now travels a little bit longer, so that's the moment until it hits. Also, Lodestone travels a little bit slower, so yeah, that's also slower. And also the cooldown of the first skill has been increased from 14 seconds to 2018 1640, so that should hopefully make him a worse suicide, so he can just like escape every 14 seconds, and it's much harder, which I like. I hate Lodestone suicide. It's freaking stupid. I don't know why, don't ask me. And the slow framer ultimate is no longer static 50%, but it's like tapering, so it means it starts at 50% and over 5 seconds it becomes 0. In other words, it's much worse now. So overall, Lodestone nerf. I didn't like Lodestone back then, and I like him even less now. He looks cool, but the things he does, maybe I just can't play him, but I didn't see this nerf as very necessary. People only pick him up because he can suicide well. Nobody's gonna pick him up now, I think. That's just my opinion. Deal with it. Pebbles got also a nerf, kind of. So this is actually kind of important. So his first skill gives you 60 damage per level. Overall damage was nerfed, but the amount you get per level is unchanged on your first skill. The second skill has been changed, and not just overall damage has been lowered, but also the damage you get per level has been lowered. So now you get 70 instead of 75 per level on your second skill. Now this is very important because before you had this kind of trade-off. Do I level my Q, which is 60 damage per level, and it's also a stun, which means I'll be using it more often most likely, and also your Q has the potential to deal double the damage when he's in the air from chalk, your second skill. So essentially, leveling your first skill gave you 60 damage, still does, and potentially 120 if you use it in the combo. And your second skill was like, well, I'm giving you 75 damage, but there's like no extra damage for comboing, but it's 15 more on the basic level if you just don't want to combo. So now that's even less. In other words, there's even less reason to go and max out your chalk as a build, and I always prefer to max my Q, and that just pushes my build even more. They're removing burstiness from pebbles, but I mean, like, overall on the final level, if you do your combo, you will deal 50 less damage than before. I mean, compared to what Deadwood got, this is really nothing. Like 50 less damage, who cares, really? It's not that big, okay. But what I don't like is that this decreases build diversity further. I mean, I would have preferred them to just nerf your first skill and just not touch the second one. I think that would have been a much better choice. But I don't make this game, and that's what they decide to go for. So yeah. And last, we have a change to Scout. So first of all, his first skill, now instead of giving you 300 attack speed for a few attacks based on your levels, it now always gives you attack speed for 4 attacks, but only like 75 on level 1 instead of 300 and stuff. So basically, you always get 4 fast attacks, but they're faster and faster. So on level 1 it's like this, and on level 4 it's like this. So basically you still get 4 faster attacks, but there's kind of more point to level it up. So before your skill on level 1, the extra attack speed was pretty much pointless because you only got it for 1 attack, and it was coming out of Invis, so you probably had it anyway. So that's kind of weird, definitely. And also the movement speed has been nerfed from 25% to 10, 15, 20, 25. So basically you kind of now have a more kind of natural linear progression in your first skill, which I definitely like. And what I don't like is kind of Suicide Scout, especially because he can block camps so much. So I'm kind of okay with this change. I think it's better than the previous version. The movement speed nerf is a nerf, but like the attack speed change and the attacks is kind of just a change for the better, in my opinion. So then the second skill was changed as well. Now the detection range is a little bit higher, so if I place it here, the detection range is a little bit closer. This is it now, and before it was probably like this or something. So this doesn't really make a big difference on like camps and stuff, because you can't place wards on the trees anyway, and you have to like kind of cut them down. Or at least that's what I get now. Maybe that's a secret ninja change. But yeah, that doesn't make a difference for warding the pull spots and stuff and jungle camps. But it does make a difference to just normally find a ward. So yeah, and kind of a nerf to Scout. I personally think it's okay because I honestly like Scout. He's my 3rd favorite hero. So he's pretty good, I think. So yeah. That's it. We're done. We're finished. Finally, guys. Aren't you happy? We're finally done with this patch. So that was everything. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm not wearing any pants. I'm being honest here. I'm really not. You want to see? Nope. Too bad. So that's it for this patch. You're going to see a couple of more Amnesia videos, and I'm still playing Han. I'm already playing Han. I'm just editing the Amnesia videos. I already finished the game. So yeah. See you next time. Good patch. Overall score 6 out of 10. That was a weird way to show 6. First 5, then 1. Yes, because Staff of the Master still sucks on all the heroes pretty much who haven't already, except for like 3. Also, it doesn't accomplish as much as I wanted to, because what I want with Staff of the Master is for them to change the way the heroes play. Like with Pharaoh, you start just spamming your ultimate everywhere. Like, that's cool. Or with Nymphoria, you can like teleport people to you. That's cool. If you get like a 10% buff on your damage, that's not cool. You can just get any item to do that for you. So I think Staff the Master could be better, and also a few Staff the Master effects I didn't like, a few changes I didn't like as well, but overall a solid patch. I mean, 6 out of 10 is above average, so it's more good than bad. I like it, but I think it could be better. And yeah, see ya.
Like a whisper.
Dice yourself!